Hello everyone, my name is Kostya. In this video, I will test Claude Fable 5 for design creation and for building web applications. In other words, this video will be dedicated specifically to web-related tests. As far as I know, Claude Fable 5 is currently only available via API. The API costs $10 per 1 million input tokens and $50 per 1 million output tokens. Let's take a look right away at what the benchmarks show us. And the benchmarks show us that we have Fable 5 is currently the #1 neural network, meaning it outperforms everything that exists at the moment. That includes Claude Opus 4.8, GPT 5.5, and Gemini 3.1 Pro. That is, in many metrics, including Swibench Pro, it shows some truly impressive super results. Let me tell you about the tests we're going to run today. First, we'll start with a landing page. It will be built on Next.js, and here we'll be able to create some cool design. I hope it can handle that. Next, we'll create an application, also on Next.js, that determines the cost of living in various cities in Vietnam broken down by categories. We'll see what it comes up with. And finally, we'll make a small e-commerce project, meaning an online pizza store. We'll also see how it handles the logic and what kind of design it creates. We're hoping for good results. So let's move on to the test. We'll start with the landing page. Now, I'm going to go ahead and type out the words create project into this field right here. From and here, we need to drop in the prompt. So I have everything organized into folders here. I'm going into the landing folder. I'm dragging the prompt over here, this one, so it can read it and create the project. Here I have Fable 5 connected to code via API. And I'm sending all of this off. It has X-high thinking. And we hope it will create some cool, awesome design for us with graphics and transitions. Our neural network, Claude Fable 5, completed the task in 27 minutes and 41 seconds. Yes, that's very slow. But let's take a look at the result. Here, I need to launch a local server so that we can see this landing page. So it tells me that I can click here and see in the browser what it has done. So, follow meaning it's asking us to follow. Let's scroll through. The main concept of this design is that some object should follow us throughout the entire page. Let's see what we've got. Well, as far as I can tell, it's a flashlight or something. What does it look like to you? Well, it looks more like some kind of flashlight that's flying around. So here it tells us about different places in Vietnam, for example, about the city of Hanoi, that it exists. Next, Halong Bay. The cities of Haiyan, Da Nang, and also Ho Chi Minh City. Sapa. So these are various places we can visit in Vietnam. In this case, it seems to be telling us about food. One picture didn't load here, but that's not a big deal. It's easy to fix. We also have something here that we can read, but since this is a one-page site, naturally we can't navigate to it. This wasn't specified in the prompt. So these are reviews, as far as I understand. And at the end, we're offered to leave our email in order to plan something. Overall, the landing page turned out really cool, very beautiful, with transitions. Just the way we asked for it. In other words, it's quite a modern and cool one. Landing page. So, let's check how it handles responsiveness, because we need to see how everything moves in adaptive mode. Well, yes, it just repositions the entire layout over to the side, so we can more conveniently view the content. Yeah, on a mobile device, it will look significantly more streamlined and simplified than it does in the standard desktop version. But the responsive design handled it well too, meaning there are no elements sticking out here. Nothing goes beyond the boundaries of our device. Overall, it turned out quite well. Maybe the mobile version could have been adapted a bit better so that our little flashlight could move around somehow. But these are minor details that we can fix with additional prompts. Overall, the landing page turned out to be quite decent, in my opinion. You can share your opinion in the comments. Did you like the landing page or not, or do you think it's pretty simple and easy? A landing page that's somewhat basic in terms of functionality, but I think it's a pretty good landing page in my view. I mean, this element, the moving one, really adds a lot to it. I suggest we move on to the next test. Now we are going to test the creation of some kind of web application. I also need to upload this prompt here so that it can read it. So here it says, create a project from, and there's a link to this file which contains the entire prompt. All right, let's send it. And as soon as everything is ready, I'll show it to you as well, and we'll discuss together what Claude was able to accomplish with the prompt. So let's check what Claude has done. He finished in 15 minutes and 52 seconds. I'm launching the local server again. We're waiting for our local server to load so that we can check the application we've created. All right. Something is loading here. Aha, that's it. Everything is working. So what do I see? We have themes here, meaning light and dark modes. Next, we have this kind of panel so that we can select our own travel parameters. Here we already have prices for cities in Vietnam, meaning how much it costs approximately in each place to stay. In this case, we have a long stay selected, meaning more than a month or a month. We can set it to a week, meaning a short stay. So if we're going for a week, where would be the most cost-effective place for us to go? So I'll set it to a month or more. Budget. We can also choose small, medium, or large. Let's choose a small budget. Furthermore, we also have the optional ability to include specific details about how much the fitness centers, shared co-working environments, and medical health facilities, which in this case would most likely refer to a hospital, and various forms of entertainment will actually cost. We can easily set the specific price in United States dollars, Vietnamese dong, or even European euros. Let's set it to dollars. So, what do we have here? We can probably even move on. Yes, here we have more detailed information, for example, that we can get a visa for 90 days. It also shows us where it's best for us to settle. District 7, for example. All right, let's see what else we have here. We can also set our own budget, let's say 1,200, right? And it tells us that Dalat is the best option for us, ranking first. All right, we can also divide our expenses by categories. Some of our expenses, for example. Overall, the app turned out to be quite informative. Of course, how up-to-date these prices are is another question. But for example, yes, no, these are current prices. These are more or less current prices. I think you can find something for that price. Within the budget, on average, if you consider an average lifestyle, I think these prices are quite reasonable. So what else can we check here? We can exclude certain cities that we don't need, or for example, add a gym, so like a fitness center. We can add co-working, more entertainment, and then our budget will increase even more. A luxury lifestyle in Ho Chi Minh City will cost us $4,000. Interesting figures. All right. Let's see how things look in terms of adaptability, how all of this will work responsively. So, that's it. Well, overall, everything is pretty good. That is, here we can set filters, set some filters. Yes, of course. He did a very good job, made the app very convenient to use. Specifically, or rather, yes, a web application specifically for mobile devices. This overall too. It's quite easy to manage all of this. Yes, I give praise. After all, Fable really knows how to handle numbers, values, and various charts. He really nailed it. It's a worthy web application. Maybe some of the numbers need to be adjusted to match the current values in Vietnam, but that's just a minor detail. Maybe he just needed to check all this information online. Some things are almost, if he had read websites, then he would have posted more accurate information. It would also be nice if he included some websites here where you can find real estate or rent a bike. But these are improvements we can make after creating OneShot, this web application. So let's do the final test. Now we're going to create an e-commerce project, an online store for selling pizza. So we'll have a pizzeria. Everything else stays the same for us. Claude Fable 5 on X High Thinking. So I'm sending it to him so he can read this prompt and create a new web application for us. As soon as he creates it, I'll show it to you and we'll go through it and discuss it just like before. So 23 minutes and 33 seconds have passed. Our code and Fable 5 needed this much time for the task. Let me also start the server and we'll see what we've got. So let's open it, and here is our pizzeria. Here we have an animated pizza that moves a little. It's animated somehow. Let's see what else we have here. So right here we have a variety of delicious pizzas, refreshing cold drinks, and some sweet tasty desserts for everyone to enjoy. We also have bestsellers, spicy, vegetarian, or new items. All right, let's take a look at the product card. What do we have here? We can choose the size of the pizza and what else we can add. For some reason, the price is in euros. Okay, let's add it to the cart. Now the cart has opened, showing us how much all of this will cost. Here we can increase the quantity of pizzas. Let's also order some drinks. For example, we can order a liter of cola, for instance, and some kind of dessert. Tiramisu will do for us. So what else do we have here? We also have the option to add to favorites. Here, our favorites are marked. Let's try, for example, entering pepperoni here. Pepperoni. Well, yes, it finds something. Where else do we have pepperoni? It also finds it if it's in the ingredients. Okay. We can also filter by the lowest price or the highest price. What else do we have here? Let's try to place our order in the cart. Yes, our cart is being processed. So here we can, as a simple example, you can try to input your own personal phone number. Well, let's write something. Address, let's say New York. And there we can write something else as well. All right, comment for the courier. We have that here. When do we need this pizza delivered? So we can go ahead and place a delayed order for later. Choose to pay using either cash or a credit card, and then successfully complete the entire ordering process. Now it should appear in our profile, I think. Let's refresh. But there's nothing here. Why? Didn't we place the order? I think we did. No. Apparently we didn't complete the order, maybe. Let me enter something here. Some numbers. Address. All right, let's try to place the order again. Now it says that everything has been ordered. Yes, now I see the order. It says here that it's available. We can delete all this data. Overall, we've got a more or less working pizzeria. That is, here we have, of course, ideally we should add all the functionality here. We need to add payment, a database, so that everything is displayed in the database. But those are minor details that I think Fable and Cloud Code can handle easily. So creating a pizzeria is quite simple using Fable without any hassle. And the design, I think, didn't turn out super cool or anything. But overall, it's quite pleasant. There are even some shadows and animations here. For example, when we switch between tabs, there's also some animation. All of this looks pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's not bad. Let's take a look at how our responsive design looks. Well, overall, the responsive design looks pretty good too. All the main functionalities work here. Nothing sticks out or gets in the way anywhere. We can purchase everything just the same. Open the cart, place an order. Overall, we've ended up with a fully functional pizzeria. I think that's a pretty good result. Really great. I wouldn't say it's an amazing result, but overall it's pretty decent. I mean, things could have been much better here, but it is what it is. So in this case, it made us this kind of pizzeria. Let's go over the results we've achieved today one more time. So we ended up with a very decent animated landing page with this flying lantern and information that we can refine and customize for ourselves. It's quite nice. So we also created a web application about the cost of living in Vietnam. That also turned out pretty well. And in the end, we got this kind of pizzeria. I would say this is an average result, good but not exactly outstanding. So today we tested Fable 5 code. It showed decent results. You could even say in some areas it was good. So it's suitable for design, but it's very expensive. I personally wouldn't use it for design. We have other neural networks that are cheaper and much better suited for this purpose. Kimi and Minimax, for example, would have handled this task just as well, or maybe even better. If you're interested in me testing these Chinese neural networks and comparing their results, be sure to let me know in the comments, and with that, I'll say goodbye. Please leave your comments and share your opinion regarding Fable 5 code in design and development. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and to the Telegram channel. See you soon. Bye.